I know you wrote a lot about Harefield back in the day, but I mean, that's a step up, wasn't it, fishing there?
I'll get to go from Farlow's. I'd fished Bedfont, which was a small lake, to Farlow's. Done a lot of work with Dougal, and I couldn't afford a Harefield ticket, so Dougal gave me one. I mean, Dougal was the man then. Like anyone in carp fishing, including yourself, everyone knows who Dougal was, And he gave me a ticket. Not a bailiff's card, because I wouldn't be a very good bailiff, because I was doing things myself that I didn't do. So I definitely, but I loved Harefield. I've done 2.5 years on Harefield and absolutely loved it. Loads of good friends that are still in the trade now. Caught loads and loads. Bear in mind I was doing 7 nights fishing and then 7 nights working. So I was off rotor. I was on a building site. So every rotor I fished 7 nights.
So you were on the haulers rotor, weren't you? Is it called the haulers?
No, I don't know what they called them, to be fair.
They did have 2 names, didn't they?
They did have haulers and trawlers.
It was something like that, wasn't it?
What was your ones? Toads and
loonies.
Toads and loonies. Which one are you in?
I'm a toad.
No way. I'd never have guessed that. Forget. I'd never have guessed that. Sorry.
That reminds me, I've got to wear a T-shirt, actually. For one of the guys is, he's Toad, you need to remind me on that. Where's that Toad T-shirt gone?
Toad T-shirt?
There was a T-shirt that your dad and me were given, and it's disappeared, actually. But anyway, it's
not a bad thing if it's got a toad on it, is it?
Wow,
I've not seen it. Have you brought it in here?
We're all a bit of a family, aren't we? We like to stick by each other, don't we?
I don't know what they were called.
But Harefield was run the same way, which I think is a great way to run a syndicate.
Week on, week off, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
You went on Monday morning, come off Monday morning.
Yeah.
And I fished every rotor right through the first year, winter or not. I fished and I don't know how many fish I ended up with, but I ended up with far more than anybody else. But bear in mind, Simon, I'd done all that time. Paul Selman was second, if you want top rod. And when I was sitting in the pub talking to Paul Selman, he was saying, how well you've done. And I said, no, for the time I fished, you have caught more than me. You've done a third of my time and caught like 10 fish less. So when you worked it out, Paul had actually, in my opinion anyway, had caught more than me. But it was a great lake, mate. The amount of shenanigans we used to get up on there to catch fish was brilliant. Dougal had known, none of us would have survived.
Oh, you don't want to get on the wrong side of him.
No, I love him, Well, he's a good friend of mine, Dougal. But at the time, although a friend, he would still have had you off. He was rod of iron in them days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, stepping onto Harefield, I mean, what did you need to learn that you didn't know previously to fish in that place?
What helped us get a ticket there was Milky paid for the two of us to do take a friend fishing, or it was something like that at the time of charity. So we had a week's fishing prior to the ticket starting the next year. Walked around the lake. Stuart Gillen was still fishing there. I knew Stuart a bit from Farlow's. And I went in a swim called Little Boards. Milky went in Long Boards. Now I had 2 1/4, £15 big game, right? And I'm the man, aren't I? And I mean, Harefield was long range fishing, so I got a 3-ounce lead. I can cast about 70 yards. So Nick the Tree was with me, and a couple of other members, just sat in chatting. Big Lee, and I said, yeah, I'll reach the third bar, don't worry about that. Well, this lead went like almost in the margins, and it was like,
that's pretty disheartening.
I was told an hour into the trip, this was fantastic. An hour into the trip, they're still sitting there. The rod that I swore I'd hit 150 yards with, it was about 65, 70, ripped off. They are. So within an hour on Harefield, I've caught the Chinese common, which at the time was a PB common, 26.5 £. So incredible.
Got a picture of the Chinese common up here.
That's the second time I caught it. That's the time my mate swam out and got it.
Yeah, that was a well-known fish as well, wasn't it?
Very famous carp. Yeah. Very famous carp.
And the Rodney Meadow fish, weren't there? And so
I don't know where this one come from.
Yeah,
but a lot of them are Rodney fish.
Yeah. They were a bit mismatched around, weren't they? All different ones, weren't there? But you had that nice fully scaled in there as well, didn't you, at that time?
Yeah, that passed away the year we joined. I caught a fully scaled, which was £27, and when I was playing that, I thought, got him, because it looked like a barbel anyway. Even the second in command fully scaled, but £24 it was. But obviously, when it came near the net, you realised. But 30 yards out from the high bank, you thought, oh my God, I've got it. We didn't know it had passed away, but fantastic. That second time I caught the Chinese common was off the point. And I had to pull off the lake at lunchtime to go and sort something out, and I had a bite. I was fishing over the back of a thing called the stick bar. From where I was, you shouldn't have been, but I cast long, pulled the lead up onto the bar with a little tiny amnesia hook link about 8 inches long, like a mini zig, for a yellow pop-up, and it went off. But it ran down the bar, behind and right, and got snagged. With John the Wad, who I'm fishing with, who I mentioned earlier, we got a LILO as an unhooking mat between us. T-shirt, underpants. he's off to get this fish. This is one of them things that Dougal would have killed us for. Anyway, he's got to where my line's trapped. He's unhooked the line. Now he's walking down, picking weed off my line, and he picked this fish up, that one there. He picked it up and went, no, about 70 yards out, and he went, it's right, it's Chinese. He put it back in the water instead of, I thought I'd put it on the LILO.
No, like, just swim back with it. We don't want to fight.
Oh my God, you had to bet. There was about 4 anglers there, and it was like, oh my God, like, DEFCON 5. But 28 odd, that was a new PB common for me at the time. But yeah, some of the stuff we got up to, it'd have killed us. Dougal would have killed us.
Yeah.
So like that example.
Yeah.